In your functional skills level 2 maths qualification, you're going to need to know how to add and subtract fractions, and in this video we're going to be showing you a nice easy way of doing so. How do we add and subtract fractions? Well, basically, in order for us to add and subtract fractions, we need to make those bottom numbers, the denominators, match, because as it is at the moment we can't do it. So we're going to need to convert one or both of these fractions. Now, a lot of the time in exam questions, you'll have fractions that you can perhaps just change one of them. So you might be able to just double one of them, for example, to make it match. So, you know, if that was 1/5 rather than 1/4, you'd be able to turn that one easily to match the 10. This one's a little bit different. So what we're actually going to need to do here is look at the 10 and the 4 and think, what can both of those numbers multiply into? Well, quite easily. We can actually just multiply those two together. So we know that we're going to want both of these bottom numbers to be out of 40 essentially. So both of those will be out of 40. So we'll have that one out of 40 and that one out of 40. So whatever we've done to the bottom numbers to turn them into being out of 40, we need to do to the same on the top number. So for example, to turn this one into being out of 40, we times it by 4. So we're going to have to do the same with the 6. So 6 times 4 is 24. And likewise with the other one, we actually times the 4 there by 10. So we're going to have to do the same with the top number. So 1 times 10 is 10. So now we've got our calculation in something we can actually work with, because essentially if your two numbers, bottom numbers in your fraction match in your actual question, it's going to be exactly the same in your answer. So this is actually a very simple, straightforward 24 minus 10 calculation, which gives us 14 out of 40. Now, as always, when we're dealing with fractions questions, we're actually going to want to simplify our answer down. So we can simplify that if we halve it to 7 out of 20, and we can't simplify that any further. So let's have a look at these other questions then. So another couple of example questions here. After this, we do have some mock exam questions that you can have a go at, which are from City and Guilds. So let's have a look at this one first. So what is 13 out of 20 plus 6 out of 10? So this is quite a nice easy one to get matching, because we can just turn this one that's out of 10 into being out of 20. So we can just double that one. So we've actually got 13 out of 20 plus 12 out of 20. Add those two together and that will give us an answer of 25 out of 20. So that is an improper fraction, so a top heavy fraction. You can simplify that down, so we can actually divide both of those numbers by 5. That would bring us down to 5 out of 4. Okay, question 2. What is 1/2 minus 1/3? So we need to look at the 2 and the 3. Think, what can they be multiplied into? Well, they can both go into 6. So if we just times those together, that'll give us 6 as our answer. So if we look at the half, we're going to times that fraction by 3 to turn it into being out of 6. So 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6. Then with the next fraction, the third, we're going to times it by 2. So our calculation is now 3/6 minus 2/6, which will give us an answer of 1/6 remaining. So on this next screen then, we can apply this sort of adding and subtracting method to mixed and improper fractions as well. So what I would suggest you do with these is to deal with your fractions first, because adding or subtracting the whole numbers is the easy bit. So let's have a look at this. Question 1. 1 1/3 plus 5 1/2. So we'll deal with the fractions first. We need to get those matching. So we're going to times the 1/3 by 2, which will give us 2 out of 6. And then we could do the same with the half, but we're going to times that by 3. So the half would be timesing it by 3, which will give us 3/6. So what we've got here then, in terms of the fractions, we've converted 1/3 and 1/2 to 2/6 and 3/6. So we've got to add those together. So 2/6 plus 3/6 equals 5/6. Now we've dealt with the fractions. We've added them together. We can just add on the whole numbers. So +1 and +5 equals 6 and 5/6. Now, if we have a look at question 2, then it's saying what is 9 6/10 minus 7/5? So this one's a little bit trickier because we've got an improper fraction mixed in here. So we're going to need to convert those so that they match. Now it's nice and easy. We can just double that 5th one to turn it into a 10th. So essentially what we've got in terms of the fractions is 9 6/10 minus, I know I said we can deal with the whole numbers later, but we'll come back to that, minus 14/10. Now, if you've done the mixed and improper fractions video, or you're quite comfortable at how you convert one to the other, it's essentially we need to turn that improper fraction, which is a top heavy fraction, into a mixed fraction, which is essentially a mixture of whole numbers and fractions. So how many 10s are in 14? 1. That's your whole number. What have you got left over? You've got 4 tenths left over. They've got 1 and 4/10. Okay. So this question now is 9 6/10 minus 1 and 4/10. So you can deal with your fractions first. So 6 minus 4, 2/10. 9 minus 1 is 8. So 8 and 2/10. What do we need to do with that fraction? We need to simplify it. So your answer, we divide that fraction by 2 to simplify it. 8 and 1/5 is the answer there. So what I want you to do is have a go at these two questions and let me know in the comments if you get them right or if you've got any questions about them, and I'll answer them for you. But pause the video, have a go at these questions, and then I'll go over the working out afterwards. Okay, so with this first one then, we've got 2.5 plus 3 3/4. Now, this one is quite a straightforward one. We can just convert the halves. So as I say, deal with your fractions first. We're going to turn that into being out of 4. So we're just going to double that to give us 2/4. We can add the 3/4 on from the question. So we're just dealing with our fractions first. That will give us 5/4. So we've got an improper fraction again. So when we've got the improper fraction, we're going to need to turn it into a mixed fraction. So that mixture of whole numbers and fractions. So how many 4s are in 5? 1. So that's your whole number. What have you got left if you've taken 4/4 away from 5/4? You've still got 1/4 left over. So 1 1/4 is the fractions, basically, if we've added those together. So 2 plus 3 plus 1 1/4 equals 6 1/4 is your answer. Now let's have a look at this next one then. So 1 3/8 plus 3 9/16. So again here we can just double that to turn it into 6/16 plus our 9/16. So we're dealing with the fractions first. So 6 plus 9 is 15. And we've got out of 16. So it's still out of 16. So now we can add the whole numbers on. So plus 1 plus 3 equals. So we've got the whole numbers of 4 plus our fraction of 15 out of 16. And that's it for that one. If you found this video useful, do click on the next video on the screen for your next lesson. Give the video a like and I'll see you over there.